his investigation had reached a stage at which he should continue his work as a special counsel, and he asked to be so appointed. Upon considering his request, as well as the extraordinary circumstances relating to this matter, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint him as special counsel. This appointment confirms my commitment to provide Mr. Weiss all the resources he requests. It also reaffirms that Mr. Weiss has the authority he needs to conduct a thorough investigation and to continue to take the steps he deems appropriate independently, based only on the facts and the law. Mr. Weiss will also continue to serve as U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware. As special counsel, he will continue to have the authority and responsibility that he has previously exercised to oversee the investigation and decide where, when, and whether to file charges. The special counsel will not be subject to the day-to-day supervision of any official of the department, but he must comply with the regulations, procedures, and policies of the department. Consistent with the special counsel regulations, at the conclusion of Mr. Weiss's work, he will provide me with a report explaining the prosecution or declination decisions reached by him. As with each special counsel who has served since I have taken office, I am committed to making as much of his report public as possible, consistent with legal requirements and department policy. Today's announcement affords the prosecutors, agents, and analysts working on this matter the ability to proceed with their work expeditiously and to make decisions indisputably guided only by the facts and the law. The men and women undertaking this investigation are public servants who have dedicated their careers to protecting the citizens of this country. The appointment of Mr. Weiss reinforces for the American people the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters. I am confident that Mr. Weiss will carry out his responsibility in an even-handed and urgent manner and in accordance with the highest traditions of this department. Thank you.
If you as General Weiss had the authorities he needed, why does he need to be a special counsel? Do you still have faith?
Okay, you just heard Attorney General Merrick Garland there appointing Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss as a special counsel in his investigation of President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Let's get straight to our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, clearly this signals the investigation into Hunter Biden is far from over.
Far from over. And we got hints of this a few weeks ago when the plea deal sort of unraveled. The special counsel, or Mr. Weiss at that point, then the acting U.S. attorney investigating the case, was asked point blank by the judge if there were still outstanding ongoing matters related to Hunter Biden. They said so in court. The answer was yes. And the ongoing question had been whether the Weiss's office would continue to serve as U.S. attorney. Now we get clear signs from the Attorney General that Mr. Weiss wants to continue to pursue these allegations, pursue the investigation, and on Tuesday told the Attorney General that he wanted the special counsel designation. Now, why is that important? The special counsel designation gives at least the appearance of more independence. You just heard the Attorney General say that he will not have to report to the Justice Department leadership on a day-to-day basis. And it further sort of inoculates the agents and the prosecutors in Weiss's office from some of the politics that will be played in regard to this case. But clearly, for Hunter Biden, who just a few weeks ago was looking at a plea deal which he thought would conclude the matter, that means this is far from over.
So let's take it now to our Chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, the president and First Lady have been very careful about what they have said about this investigation and what they have said about their son. They just say they support him, they love him. But does this change that? Do they now need to say more? Will they say more?
Well, look, the White House, this president certainly had hoped they were moving past all of this. And we have long seen the president and the White House stress the independence of this investigation. You'll often hear them say that the president has never discussed this case with the attorney general. And the president is well aware that this has become a political lightning rod. He doesn't want to say anything that is going to give fuel to the Republicans, fuel to his critics who have been eager to pounce on this issue, which is why you have heard the president not comment at all on the substance of this investigation, but rather simply always reiterate his support for his son. We know that Joe Biden is a devoted father. He has stood by Hunter throughout his struggles with addiction, throughout this investigation, always adamant that he did nothing wrong. And it is important to note that, after 5 years of investigating so far, they have not brought any charges linked to Hunter's business dealings, anything to substantiate the Republican claims about Hunter's business contacts. And of course, we have not seen any smoking gun at all, despite this investigation and the investigations on the Hill that is connect this back to the president at all. And the White House insists that Biden wasn't in business with his son. But obviously, there is still more to investigate here. And the president's hopes that they were turning a page on this, well, that's not happening.
Let's take it now to Chief Washington correspondent John Carl. John, does this mean there could be more evidence, or does this just give Weiss more independence to do his investigation? And then how is that going to fold in to the upcoming election and just the credibility of the president?
This certainly raises the question of why. Why did Weiss decide to ask for this after just a couple of weeks ago he was trying to wrap it all up with a plea deal? Was there more evidence? Certainly that's a question Republicans are going to be asking. This will add fuel to that fire on Capitol Hill. They will say that they were right about the seriousness of this. It also raises questions about how long this is now going to go. The Hunter Biden legal team, the White House, Democrats in Congress, they had all believed, hoped maybe, but certainly believed that this was just about over and they could say it was done. The investigation's 5 years, they found nothing. Now, new life to this investigation. And then the question is, the Republicans, how do they react to this? And I believe that you will see Republicans forcefully, add more to their investigation on Capitol Hill. They will not be placated by this. They will say this shows that there's a lot more there.
Then let's take it to ABC News executive editorial producer John Santucci. What does this mean for Trump? And doesn't it just fuel the Republican fire to discredit President Biden?
100%, Kira. I can tell you, just texting with an aide to Donald Trump in just the last couple of seconds, wow, in all caps is a word they've written. They've also said, Kira, that this validates the work, as John just mentioned, of the House Republicans that have been investigating Joe Biden and Hunter Biden's business deals. And I think, Kira, this is the thing that we're now going to see, that it's going to ratchet it up and almost feel like deja vu. We're now going to have a White House under investigation by a special counsel and a House committee working in tandem. Clearly, it's going to be a race to see who gets the best evidence first, Kira.
All right. And thanks to our political team. And of course, our coverage will continue on ABC News Live with me and also abcnews.com if you take it to live now. And we also return to our regular programming. I'm Kira Phillips in Washington. Have a great day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.